Hello and welcome back. We're sitting here this time at Jeff's house having a mystery school day and pondering the mysteries of the universe, and we decided to get into a channeling state and see what comes through. Though we kind of are getting the intuition, the sense that we're going to do a part 2 of one of the former videos that we did about fourth density Earth, but let's see what comes through, because I never really know what's going to come through when I sit down to do this. I might get some hints, but it's a surprise, so let's see what happens. Good day to ya. We welcome you to the realms of light, where the vast majority of who you are also exists. We welcome you to these realms of light from where your physical lives, your physical personalities, and your entire physical worlds also spring. We welcome you to this transmission, which will help to facilitate the connection between the physical mind and the higher minds of those present and those that are present through seeing the recorded medium of this message. For it is received by all individuals that tune into this frequency. For remember that all time is simultaneous. Thusly, when you're tuning into this message in your time zone or time frame, shall we say, you are tuning into it as it is happening in a manner of speaking, because all time is, as you know, simultaneous. So we welcome each and every one of you that is here and listening to this transmission and receiving these messages, and we remind each and every one of you that much more is being transmitted than the words themselves, than the language themselves, than the language itself, because the vibrations are coming through in a way that does not always register with your physical minds, but is registered by other levels and other portions of your consciousness. This is a grand orchestration, many, many levels of consciousness. And we are serving as a reflective mirror to help bring the bridge and the balance, the bridge, the connection, the link, and the rebalancing of your physical minds with your higher minds. So welcome. And indeed, we will be diving a little bit deeper into the fourth density version of Earth that many of you are shifting into for the passion of the channel, and our passion is synchronous in aiding and assisting in this grand shift, this transformation from third density to fourth density, and revealing more and more of the true natural selves that you truly are. So with that, we will then open it up to the questions that are bubbling about this fourth density Earth and this transformation.
Hello, Illi.
Good day.
Our last interview on fourth density Earth, our audience really liked it, so let's delve back into it and get into some of the subjects that we didn't cover. Is there anything that you would like to tell us about fourth density Earth before we get started?
Yes, indeed. You are shifting to the version of Earth whereby your, as you call it, medicine will be increasingly more and more vibrational by nature. You are, as yet, in your collective consciousness, very much bought into the idea of chemical medicine and very heavy-handed medicine. And you are shifting to versions of Earth whereby your medicine will become much more subtle in nature, whereby you will be working with the template realities that give rise to the various experiences of your physical reality. Thusly, you will not be manipulating physical matter, rather you'll be manipulating the template levels, which is much more subtle, much more vibrational. You will be coming into many versions of treatments, shall we say, which will aid and assist your population in shifting to fourth density in a very profound way with, shall we say, minimal physical intervention and very much vibrational intervention. You will be using various forms of frequency to shift and to aid and assist in the shifting process. You will also be much more subtle in consciousness. You will have, and you are developing the ability to look at the templates and the belief systems that you have bought into as individuals, as groups, as collective groups, as families, as racial groups, and all assortments of consciousness, to divest yourself of the heaviness and the density, so that will aid and assist very much in the shifting from third to fourth density. Your medicine will be radically transformed. And so many of you will, and have been, and will continue to feel the calling to investigate various forms of healing, various healing arts, various healing hearts that use color, that use frequency, that use natural elements of the earth to precipitate a kind of change, to facilitate a shifting upwards in frequency. And you will also know it as a fact that the state of your mind and the belief matrices that you buy into have a direct correlation to the state of health of your physical body. For many of you, this is kind of a no-brainer, but we are talking about this being understood in the collective consciousness of your entire world. This will be a profound shift. Thusly, that is what we wanted to add, is that your medicines will completely change, to move from physical medicine to vibrational medicine. And you will take ownership of that which you create as individuals and as a society within your physical bodies, and within the physical body of the earth itself, and within the physical body of the society. For the society itself is a kind of collective physical body in which each and every one of you is like the individual cells of this larger organization of consciousness. And notice even the synchronicity of your word organization, for you are each, in a manner of speaking, like cells of a much larger being of humanity, and thusly you will recognize the family that you are with one another, as well as with other civilizations in due time as well. You will feel true sense of family, true sense of belonging. Thusly, as you shift into the love frequency, much of the healing will precipitate from that shift, from learning to accept yourselves, learning to love yourselves, learning that when you cut yourselves off from your true natural selves, then your physical bodies wither in all kinds of ways, because you are not receiving enough support from your soul level, from your oversoul level. Thusly, when you cease to cut yourselves off from your true natural selves, you will experience much more radiant health, and you will indeed be illuminated by a sublime light from within, which will illuminate your physical tissues with a radiance of health unlike that which you have experienced before. You will truly be glowing from the inside. You already, in fact, do glow from the inside, but you are becoming consciously aware of this, and you will engage with the unlocking of that energy very actively, very consciously. And as you do so, you will activate latent abilities within the physical body itself and activate rapid processes of healing and physical, shall we say, evolution in your terms, the evolution of the physical body. In time, space, reality terms, you will literally light up the physical body from the inside. Now, you have a saying in your civilization, this idea that you're using 10% of your brains. And this has a metaphorical basis in the truth, in that you are literally cutting yourselves off to such a high degree. You're using but a very small sliver of a fraction of your true capacity, even within the physical body itself. The physical body has many latent abilities that are simply not online yet, as it were, because you have been experiencing so much limitation and you've cut yourselves off so much from the flow of your true natural selves. Thusly, as you open up your true natural self frequency and flood your body consciousness with the sublime light of your soul, you will experience incredible abilities of the physical body itself. So you are transforming thusly from the inside out, and your medicines will very much reflect this powerful shift that is happening. So that is what we would like to add.
Are there some practical steps that we can take or do daily, or, I don't know really the correct question, to help facilitate this?
Well, as many of you know, the formula given by the Sasani civilization is the most efficient pathway to activate this energy to flow through your physical beings. So you know that formula. And of course we add to that the permission slip of the love frequency, the ability to give kind and warm regard to yourself. That is literally like turning on the faucet of this non-physical energy that you are. Now, many of you have bought into many negative beliefs about yourselves, and these beliefs are the ones that shut off the flow. Thusly, unlocking from these negative belief matrices that limit your flow will very much expand this flow of energy through you. So having an active process, an active consciousness to divest yourself of the negative beliefs, to unlock the flow of your true natural selves. Now, when you practice the love frequency, it is a very highly efficient way of opening that flow, and understand that as you give warm regard to yourself, it might seemingly paradoxically bring up all your issues to the surface. But as you know, that is part of the process of the revelation of who you truly are, because you must first reveal the limiting beliefs of what you are not and how you are limiting yourself, making it conscious so that you can own it, so that you can transform it. Thusly, working with those negative beliefs is part of the process. Becoming aware of the negativity that you hold within yourself is part of the process. It's not an interruption in the flow, it is the flow itself. Thusly, you can practice the love frequency, but also practice becoming aware of whatever negativity comes up and asking yourself that penetrating question: what would I have to believe is true about myself in this situation, to feel this way, to think this way, to act this way, to find myself in this particular situation? Use it all up, the positive and the negative, in a positive way, and you will be on your merry way, shifting from stone to stone, hopping across the river of life from third to fourth density. Does that help?
Yes. So, talking about the love frequency and fourth density Earth, what will relationships look like?
Relationships will be based on spontaneous order. Now, to your third density minds, the idea of spontaneous order seems somewhat contradictory. However, we assured you that spontaneity knows its own order. One of your early channelers has brought this through, this idea that spontaneity knows its own order. Thusly, your relationships will be spontaneous. They will be divested of all the insistences. And you will not overlay your true natural relationships with ideas of what it is supposed to be. what this person is supposed to show up as, how they are supposed to behave to you, what they are supposed to do with you, how long they are supposed to be with you. All of these are impositions by the physical mind, which you will divest yourselves of. For you will no longer need those, shall we say, training wheels to give you a kind of false sense of security, because you will be secure in yourselves. And when you're secure in yourselves, you will not depend on other people showing up in these ways that you insist that they show up for you to feel good about yourself. You'll just naturally enter the relationship feeling good about yourself, feeling connected to the all that is. And then you will be there to share, and you will discover. It'll be very exciting to discover what each relationship is there to show you, to reveal within you. You will not impose upon it any kind of limitation of what it is supposed to be. You will allow it to be what it is designed to be, and you will recognize that when you allow a relationship to be its true natural shape, you will get a profound experience, a profound revelation. You will be in the true relationship, and the relationship will be in its true natural shape. Thusly, you will get everything from it that you are meant to get from it. And when the lessons are complete, you will separate in love. For you never truly separate, for like we said, you will feel yourself connected to the totality of humanity as if you are one body, one consciousness. Therefore, there is no true separation. This is something you all have created and concocted in your third density minds. You're never truly separate. Therefore, you can invite people into your life. You can let them go on their merry way because you are connected anyway. Connection already is the case. And then people will flow magically into your life, and then they will flow magically out of your life. You will not be hanging on to them because you will trust that the natural order is the best and the most efficient for you and for the other individuals that you're in a relationship with. So it will be much more spontaneous.
In this fourth density earth, will there be marriage? Will there be family?
Indeed, as we have said, the totality of humanity will be one family. You will truly recognize this. Therefore, the idea of imposing upon this any other kind of relationship, you're already in a relationship by the fact that you exist and the fact that you are human. Therefore, you will not need to add an additional label on top of it that carries with it a kind of programming or ideas of what that means once you label it in a specific way. That is not to say you won't have life partnerships, because you will. You simply will not go into the relationship knowing that you are entering that kind of relationship. It is almost as if in your last days upon the earth you will recognize, looking back, well, I guess that was a life partnership because we stayed together our entire lives. But you do not know this ahead of time, so to speak. You don't impose a kind of limitation, because many relationships are, as we might say, transitional. Some people come into your lives for a season. Others come into your lives for your entire lives. But this isn't always known by the physical mind. In fact, the physical mind is not designed to know this about individuals. This is the purview of the higher mind. Thusly, it will be based on trust and synchronicity. That is not to say, as we have already said, you will indeed have some versions of relationships that will be life partnerships, but they will simply not be imposed upon relationships. It will be something that will arise very naturally between individuals. It won't be forced into place, as it is often in your society, and you will flow, whether you have that experience or not. You won't insist on having that kind of experience or another kind of experience. Rather, you will be in the flow and trust the flow, what it reveals to you. You will like the element of surprise. Whereas in third density, you are so rigidized that you try to control everything from the physical mind level. In fourth density, you will simply trust the flow and feel the exhilaration of being in a flow that you don't always know where it's going. That's the excitement part. Rather than being afraid of the unknown, you will welcome the unknown, for it will always reveal more and more surprise and more splendor. You will relish that rather than fear it and attempt to control it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes. What about sex? Will there be physical sex? And monogamy? Is monogamy part of the fourth density?
It can be. It doesn't have to be. You can have that as a preference. However, there won't be so much judgment and stigma about the variety of experiences upon your world. If two beings choose that, and that is their highest excitement, then of course they are free to explore that and explore the depth of connecting with one individual. Of course, there's a whole other can of worm here, understanding that you're constantly shifting to new versions of you and new versions of Earth in each moment. Even the person you're experiencing continuity with is in fact a new person in each moment, and you are a new person in each moment. But to answer the question from your standpoint, understanding continuity as you understand it, then by all means, if it is your excitement to go to, as you might say, the depth with one person, you can do that, but it will be up to each and every individual to decide what kind of a relationship they wish, or relationships they wish to have. Now, the idea of sex, of course, we've talked about the transition from physical to non-physical. So, of course, as long as you are physical beings, you will procreate in the physical manner, and you will also have the sexual experience, which is highly energetic in a physical manner, whether you use it for procreation or not. However, as you begin to shift into non-physical, of course, your sexual acts will become increasingly based upon frequency harmonics. The way when you play two notes together and they just sound exquisitely beautiful, it always is like that. However, it will become more and more revealed as that kind of a non-physical interaction of frequency as you shift into your non-physical selves. However, that is available to you now, and many of you are awakening to the idea that sex is very, very multi-dimensional, a highly multi-dimensional experience. Thusly, even now in your physical selves, and this is what this whole idea or awakening into this concept, this idea of sacred sex is all about. It's the idea that you connect very deeply into the harmonics of spirit on many levels and in many dimensions, creating this powerful connection, a beautiful harmonic which is so much more than the physical act itself. The physical act is simply a gateway into your multi-dimensional selves that you can experience with other beings. A very beautiful state. So we hope that helps.
Mm-hmm. So if we get into the non-physical sex in the fourth density, how do people procreate? How do we make others like us if it's not physical?
You will bring two frequency bubbles together, shall we say, and where they intersect, into that, or in that space will be created a gateway through which a being can take on whatever material experience that you have. So when you are almost non-physical, shall we say, it'll happen in this way, where you densify or crystallize within this overlapped energy bubble space, where a being can come into that space and crystallize from the electromagnetic fields a kind of quasi-physical housing through which the soul will then experience your dimensional realm, shall we say. However, when you are purely non-physical, then of course this will no longer really apply, because you will no longer need a gateway or a portal to shift, because you're already in non-physical, in spirit. Does that make sense?
Yeah. If we're non-physical in spirit, do you still have children? I don't know. How do two spirits who are non-physical create another? Is that something that even happens?
In fifth density in spirit, you don't really create in that sense, because everything already exists. So you don't have that. The idea of creation comes when you create a time-space reality, whereby then a soul can weave itself into a timeline and then exit that timeline. However, when you're in fifth dimensionality, the rules are different, so you don't have that experience of, shall we say, beginnings. So therefore the idea of a birth doesn't really apply or make sense. It applies to a temporal experience whereby you insert yourself into a realm at a very specific point in time, and then you exit that realm at a specific point in time. So when you're in a timeless state, there is kind of a lack of a medium within which to have a quote-unquote beginning. Does that make sense?
It does. And for our viewers who might not be familiar with the densities, could you just give us a quick summary overview of the differences between third density, fourth density, and fifth density, so they know what we're really talking about?
Very good. Well, third density you're very familiar with. It is a very crystallized time-space reality, and your third density experience is very much based upon a pretty severe limitation of your connection to your higher minds, to the non-physical aspect. So you are crystallized very heavily and very heavily invested in the realm, to the point where you forget who you truly are. You have a real deep sense of amnesia. You forget your spiritual essence, so that you have this physical experience. That is third density, especially the way you're experiencing it in your world. Whereas fourth density, you are still physical. However, you are very much connected to a higher mind. You don't have that same degree of amnesia. You understand yourself as a spiritual entity. And this is, of course, why the idea of the sexual experiences we talked about, that you asked about, why you will have a much more multi-dimensional experience in your lovemaking, because you are now opening up to the spiritual dimensions. And so fourth density, you will be experiencing yourselves as beings that are very much connected to spirit. You will have a deep sense of understanding that you are connected to all that is. That's why you can have a society based on love. That's why you can have a society based on the understanding that you are all one family, and that what one does have an impact on the whole, and that the whole is in fact supporting the individual. You will see this. It'll be plain as day, as you like to say colloquially. It'll be out there in the broad daylight. It will not be a mystery. It will be very clear that you are all connected, and not only to one another, but to the earth itself, and to the cosmos, and to spirit. So fourth density is very much about knowing yourself as a spirit, but still having a physical experience. Third density is about the forgetfulness, that you forget that you are a spiritual being, and you purely feel and think that you are this separate physicalized entity. And then fifth density is this quality of spirit spiritual consciousness. You're now non-physical. And so you're experiencing yourself in a reality that is very much not adhering to any strict sense of time and space. You can understand that everything is here and now. And you're much more free, and you don't have that same physical form that you have in the fourth density and certainly in the third density. Does that help?
Yes. In fourth density Earth, right now it's June. And June in the Bay Area is Pride Month.
Yes.
Which is the LGBTQ time where we celebrate diversity. In the fourth density Earth, will there be diversity? Will there be sexual orientations and preferences? And what will that be like?
There will always be preferences. And you will have an acute sense of how to manifest your preferences. And you will also understand that you can manifest your preferences without impinging or infringing on the ability of others to express their preferences. And you will see that each preference fits as a beautiful puzzle piece within a large puzzle. Your society will be the large puzzle, and you will be that individual piece that knows you fit perfectly when you truly align with your preferences. And there will be much diversity. And the growing pains that you're experiencing now as third density is because you are shifting to a version of Earth whereby diversity is very, very much celebrated, because you will realize that it is through the true natural expression of each true natural self that the society benefits. So your diversity is your strength and not your weakness. It is not a matter of homogenization, it is a matter of synchronous diversity. That is the ultimate expression of fourth density, synchronous diversity. Each individual gets to express their true natural self, which fits in very perfectly with the entirety of civilization, and the society is based upon the support of each individual expressing their truest, most natural self, and the society knows it benefits when each member of the civilization is able to and supported in expressing their truest, most natural self. You will truly relish yourselves like a beautiful flower garden with all kinds of bursting colors and different shapes and sizes, and you will appreciate all the variety of beauty that you are.
Sounds wonderful.
Indeed.
I think that we're getting towards the end of this transmission, and we would like to leave our viewers with some action steps, some things that they can do to help bring in, I know we've talked a little bit about it before, this love frequency vibration,
Yes.
fourth density Earth, some practical steps that our viewers can do to help move them more into the fourth density.
Well, it's the same answer we gave earlier. Very much the formula from the Sasani civilization is the most streamlined piece of, shall we say, like an instruction manual, as Bashar likes to say. It is the most condensed and yet complete formula for activating more of your true natural selves, and combined into that the love frequency, and also a willingness to really investigate the ways that you hold yourselves back. For you will never truly discover that anything negative about yourself is actually true. Therefore, have great courage in investigating all the different ways that you hold yourselves back. Have that courage. Thusly, it is the courage both to love yourselves. Paradoxically enough, it takes courage to love yourself in this society that you have. And also the courage to dive into the heart of your negativity and investigate what beliefs are generating that negativity. So there's those two sides of the coin, and of course the formula. We love the formula. We couldn't have even said it better ourselves. Thusly, we will always refer you to that wonderful passion formula. given by our wonderful Sasani brothers and sisters. So with that, as we feel that we are coming to the closure of this transmission, we will wish each and every one of you tuning in on this wonderful day of your time and your time-space reality. We will wish each and every one of you a beautiful, heartfelt, self-revealing, glorious good day. Wow, that was some good stuff. Can't wait to post that. Thank you all for tuning in. I had a great time, and I just love where these sessions keep going and keep expanding, and I love sharing this, so I definitely am going to keep doing it. Thank you, and get out there and be your true natural self. Take care.